Favorite travel websites. Hi, I'm Lori, a senior solo traveler, and those of you who have been following my channel know that I've been traveling extensively over the last few years. And I'm often asked how I do my travel planning. So I thought I would share with you my 10 favorite travel websites. I'll show how they work and why I like them. Here goes. Number 1, Rome to Rio. Rome to Rio is a great website for figuring out the best way to get from point A to point B. I often refer to it when I'm mapping out a land trip to see the approximate costs of an airline, train, or bus ticket. I can see what is the least expensive or fastest way to get somewhere. Let me give you an example. Let's say I'm planning a trip to Madrid, Spain, but see a great flight deal to Lisbon. I will look on Rome to Rio to see how much it will cost me and how long it would take me to get from Lisbon to Madrid. I see here that the fastest way is another flight, which will take 4 hours. I will then need to determine if the savings I get when flying to Lisbon instead of Madrid is worth it. In this case, it may be because the flights are inexpensive. I also use Rome to Rio to figure out how to get from the airport to the hotel at my destination. I can see how far away it is and figure out if it is cheaper or faster to get a taxi, a rideshare, or use public transportation. Number 2, Going. Going is my favorite website to look for flight deals, mainly because they only deal with flights, so the website is streamlined and very easy to navigate. You can try it for free for 14 days, but then they charge either $49 for a premium membership, which will give you deals for economy flights, or $199 for an elite membership, which will show you deals for all flight classes. I paid for the elite membership a couple years ago, figuring that even if I save on one flight, it will pay for the membership. And I've saved on several flights, so it has definitely been worth the investment. Let me show you a few of the website's features. My favorite feature of the site is that I can plug in my home airport, which is Phoenix, and it shows me flight deals from there. However, the best part is I can also enter secondary airports. In my case, I input Los Angeles, Las Vegas, and Burbank, where I know I can almost always find a cheap flight. It has a watch list, so I can input destinations where I'm interested in going, and it will alert me when a flight deal becomes available. You can also just click on Deals, and it shows you hundreds of flight deals that are currently available. Now, if I do find a flight deal on Going, I book it directly through the airline website. Number 3, Google Flights. Although I've never actually booked a flight using Google Flights, I use it all the time to research what airlines are flying to the specific destination I'm going, and it gives me an idea of how much I'm going to have to pay. For example, let's say I want to fly from Phoenix to San Francisco. When I enter it into Google Flights, I can see that American, Southwest, and United are the major airlines that fly that route. I also see that Southwest has the cheapest fares. Now I go directly to the Southwest Airlines website and book the flight there. Expedia, Travelocity, Orbitz, and other sites work similarly. However, I find that those sites aren't as streamlined and as simple to use as Google Flights. For me, the goal is to find the cheapest flight I can, but then book it directly through the airline. Number 4, Google Explore. Google Explore shows you all the flight prices within a specific region. For example, here are all the prices for flights from New York's JFK to Europe. You can search for various flight classes. I clicked on Premium Economy and see it is cheaper to fly to London than my ultimate destination of Edinburgh. And this is where Rome to Rio comes in. You can check to see how much a short-haul flight or train would be to get from London to Edinburgh to see if it would be worth the savings. Number 5, Aerolopa. Now, once you have determined your flight, I like to go to Aerolopa to see the airplane's cabin design before selecting my seat. That is, if I'm on a flight that allows you to select your seat. I think Aerolopa has the best diagrams of the seats, and their website is easy to use. It shares detailed information about seat width, leg space, etc. Number 6, Mindtrip. Now, AI, or artificial intelligence, is debatable, and I wouldn't want to rely on it solely for travel planning. However, I have found that Mindtrip is great for helping me figure out a touring itinerary at my specific destination. Sometimes I have to keep prompting it, but it is a great starting point. Here's an example. Let's say I want to visit Rome, Italy, and have 2 days to explore the city. I'll ask Mindtrip to create a 2-day itinerary for me. Here is what they came up with. After looking it over, I might prompt it again to only include 1 meal per day, eliminate museums, or show me details on how to use public transportation to get to the various sites. I usually tweak it several times to get an itinerary that works for me. Now, I don't generally follow the itinerary exactly, and I usually do quite a bit more research because, frankly, it tends to send you to the standard tourist places, and maybe you want to get a little bit off the beaten track sometimes. But it is a really good starting point. Number 7, Viator.com. If you are interested in booking an excursion or a guided tour in a city you are visiting, this is a site where you can find it. There are other similar sites such as Get Your Guide or Airbnb Experiences. However, I have used Viator for years and find it to be a professionally run company. All you do is enter the dates you will be in a specific city, and it will show you all sorts of experiences in which you can participate. The fees vary depending on the activity, but all costs are upfront. The only additional cost is if you want to tip your guide, and you probably should. And Viator does kind of rack up some credit points if you use them frequently, and then when you go to book, sometimes you get $2 or $3 off your next booking. It's a nice little perk. Number 8, Guru Walk. Now, one of my favorite things to do when exploring a new city is sign up for a free walking tour. It doesn't cost you anything, except they do expect you to tip the guide. Guru Walk is a great website to find a tour. I've participated in walking tours in cities all over Europe, but they do offer them around the world, mostly in larger cities. Number 9, TripAdvisor. TripAdvisor is a very dense website with a plethora of information. However, I mainly use it to look up hotel reviews. It is a great resource for seeing actual traveler photos rather than the marketing photos the hotel produces, and this can be very eye-opening. Now, you can't always rely on reviews, but if you see a whole bunch of bad ones, you might want to steer clear. Number 10, Wanderlog. Now, once you have booked your flights, lodging, and transportation, Wanderlog allows you to upload all your information in one place. You can also do research and booking from this site, but I prefer to use it mainly as a way of creating an itinerary that includes all the information. Once I load all the information onto the site, I can print an itinerary, and I now have a hard copy to bring with me. You can also share it with loved ones before you leave on your trip. So those are my top 10 favorite travel websites. Now, you might have noticed that I didn't mention some of the popular travel websites such as Trivago, Hotwire, Expedia, Orbitz, Kayak, and Booking.com. I do sometimes look on these sites to compare prices, but I don't book on the sites because I don't want a middleman involved when booking. Every once in a while, and it's really rare, you might find a deal on one of those sites, but more often than not, you'll find the same deal if you go directly to the hotel website. And if you do find that rare deal on one of those third-party sites, look closely, because oftentimes it might be a non-refundable reservation, whereas if you book directly with the hotel, it's refundable. So just make sure you're comparing apples to apples. Same thing goes for flights. You don't want a middleman involved. Let me give you an example. Let's say you booked a flight using Travelocity, and your flight is canceled. You've got to contact Travelocity to get things worked out. Everyone else who booked directly through the airline is either getting a notification on their phone, giving them immediate access to rebook, or they can go to the customer service counter at the airport and get it rebooked there. But you are trying to track down a phone number for Travelocity, and oftentimes it's very hard to reach a person. I know this from experience in my early years of traveling. I made that mistake. Don't do it. Now, many of these websites also have apps, and I do use them when I'm on the road. But when it comes to travel planning, I like to use my laptop, so I prefer websites. I will be posting a video on my 10 favorite travel apps soon, so subscribe if you'd like to be notified. If you have any questions on any of these websites, please ask in the comments section. And if you have any travel websites that you adore, please share too. I'm sure we'd all love to hear about it. Check out the Senior Solo Travel website, where all my videos are laid out in an easy-to-access format, and the Travel Facebook forum, where you can interact with other travelers. I have left links in the description below. And if you'd like to follow my senior and solo travel journeys, please like and subscribe. Cheers!